that we have taken go after you what you want out of dating. And that's the only area of life that we are not intentional in as women.
Agreed.
And you talked a lot about that on your last podcast episode. So I wanted to really ask about you introduced the idea of dating for capacity and not potential.
Correct.
I would like for you to expand on that. Like, what do you mean with that?
So I have always recommended not to date based on potential. Like, you know, that person's a good person, you know that they're capable of being successful, but you don't see anything actionable happening behind that behavior, right? You can look at someone and say they're capable of all things, but you don't see them doing anything to make that come to fruition. Capacity, more specifically human capacity, when you Google it, it's all about actions. It's all about them working towards a specific goal. And although they have not reached that goal yet, you can see that there's actions happening behind it. So I always say that a capacity is dependent on a person's action to make that potential come to fruition.
Okay.
And I believe that I used to be the date for potential. Like, I see so much greatness in him, and it always put me in a bad predicament because I always ended up being very much disappointed because the potential is not becoming anything. And it's always very sad when you see someone that's capable of so much, but they're not really investing in themselves or investing in the goals that they have. So when I look at human capacity, it's very similar to looking at a person that is working hard, they're grinding, they're trying their best. And I think that that's one of the things that we should be putting in at least the top 5 requirements of a potential partner.
Yeah.
Is somebody that's working towards something. Oftentimes we want to see the fruits of the labor. And when you're talking about realistically, if you want a millionaire, if you want a 6-figure person, they likely won't have it in their 20s. Oftentimes, people don't reach their first 6 figures until their mid-30s to late 30s, if ever, in life. So as young people dating, we can't necessarily date based on the outcome of a person's work. Sometimes they have not reached that outcome yet. So you have to look at their capacity, their human capacity, and what does the work ethic look like at the time.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely understand.
All right. Let's go ahead and break that down, man. She talked about dating for capacity and not potential. I'm going to go ahead and get your input first. Sham Monet, what are your thoughts about that?
I agree. I mean, that's just, I guess that's like common sense, but I guess it's not so, so often we do see women who is like, they have more faith in him than he has in himself. It's like, oh, I see the potential in him. I know he can do it. Meanwhile, he ain't doing nothing, right? And we have, we feel like, with just our help, we can get him there, but it's just not going to happen if he doesn't want it for himself. So I do agree that you need to be looking at someone who's actually, okay, he has a plan and he's already working on that plan. I can see the steps he's taking to be what it is he wants to be. He wants to be a plumber. Oh, he's in school. He's training to be a plumber. He's getting the hours in. He's doing the work. He wants to be a doctor. Oh, he's in school. He's in med school. That's what we're talking about, doing the work. And she can help him guide, to do her part. Now, I've always said it's better to meet a person in the beginning and opposed to the end, right? But there are reasons why that has backfired a little bit. Over the years. But I do believe that if you get a guy who's starting out and you're able to assist him, you guys can go far together. Now, the problem is women are starting to not want to assist men that are not their husbands anymore, because the assisting has caused them to assist and he resists them later. So that can be an issue too, right? So when we were talking about young couples getting together, marriage on their minds, possibly even married, absolutely. You want to date a man who has the capacity, or whatever she said, and you want to move forward and assist him and get to where he is. Do not wait at the finish line. You do not want that. I don't think that you want that. First of all, you got to develop memories together, that bond. It's so many things. When you are down, those memories of being and then getting up together, sometimes those are what keeps I mean, the relationship solid. Does that make sense? If it's all gravy, it's like y'all didn't go through nothing bad together. You got to go through stuff together to make it be legit. That's just how I feel. It ain't got to be nothing like he just dogging you out or you dogging him out, but just going through times together so you guys can have more appreciation for the process, appreciate for the outcome because you went through the process. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you got to build character.
And she'll have appreciation for what you've built because she was a part of the process.
All right, go ahead,
Facts.
yes.
No, I agree with her. I agree with her. I agree with what Shan said. Um, at the same time, uh, I'm aware that expectations can become our greatest enemy in in attempting to achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. So even if you do find this person that you can grow and build with, you're still a completely different person from that person. So your expectations of what you may want or expect from them, it may not always meet what it is that you expected of. So that can become tricky. But if you built that relationship together, that bond, then I think that it'll still balance out.
All right, go ahead, Luis.
I like the video. I like the video, and I think that the woman shared a lot of really good insight. The only thing that makes me wonder sometimes is that I wonder what the current mothers of today, 5 years, 10 years ago, are teaching their young daughters in terms of this same concept. Because it's not this. It's not, um, I know they're talking about potential, like don't date potential, but they're also not talking about the other aspect in which she was talking about in the video. Like showing receipts. That's essentially what I got out of it. Date a man or associate yourself with men who show receipts, showing proof, right? Like the example that Shane Monet is. If he wants to become a plumber and this is what he talked about, he's already in trade school. He's already graduating. He's already putting the hours. He's got his apprenticeship. He's got his license. There's a series of receipts, steps by step, right? Nobody's going to go from the beginning all the way to the end in one skip and a hop. Obviously, there's a processes. And for me, I'm always big on showing receipts. When you have conversations of two people who try to guide you and stuff, talk about receipts. How did you set things up? Like, what are the shortcomings that you got? Like, how did you get through that? Right. And especially if we're talking about relationship and people finding their person, right, that have dreams, goals, and aspirations, and they want a life and build a life with somebody, right? They're going to be in the trenches at times. They're going to go through hard times. They're going to go through good times, and it's ebb and flows. But once you get through that storm and you see better greener pastures, you're going to look back and be like, damn, do you remember those times that we went through these hardships? Do you remember the time we barely made it out of that situation? You have things to talk about. You have memories created, just like, Shan and Viz had alluded to, right? And it just makes the relationship that much better because what happened is that a lot of women are waiting at the finish line and they're ready to pick whatever uh, first place winner crosses the line, and they don't understand what comes with that. You know what I'm saying? I think that those men have a certain level of entitlement, and I don't blame them. He wasn't in there in the gym shooting with me. He wasn't passing me the ball.
Nope.
Even when I was in school, those late hours in the library, you didn't wait for me with, with sushi and some coffee, right? You didn't tell me like, hey, you're gonna make it. You're gonna like just a couple more weeks. You got this. That goes a long way. That subtlety of reminder, that reinforce of confidence of having that person by your side, even when you feel like giving up on the inside, and they're like, "You got this. I believe in you." Man, that shit makes you go harder. That makes you want to push through whatever bullshit you are. And it makes you reflect back on those moments. And you build that bond. And those are where the bond, that's really where the glue of a lot of relationships is these sort of ebbs and flows and ups and downs. All that finished product on Instagram with the beaches and the flyouts and the first class, that is the finished product of people who have gone through the mud. You got to put mud on some of these women's boots to understand what they're willing to go through with you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.